So, Steve, I actually have a question for you on what do you see as the difference between the wealth creation for coaches, the prosperous coach, and how to get clients? How are they different, or what are the synergies between the books?
Yeah, I think in my mind, they all work together. The Prosperous Coach was written a number of years ago by Rich Litvin and myself, and it was a reflection of the things that were being taught in the ACS course, being taught serve before you sell, and all those principles that were really working for coaches. And then when I wrote How to Get Clients, I wanted to dive a little deeper. I wanted to examine, well, why are they working? Why do these systems and disciplines that we had in the Prosperous Coach, why do they work? Because if I know why they work, why they help me get clients and build a prosperous practice, it's easier to execute them and try them and practice them until they become a skill. If I'm trying to trust that they work, uh, then it's harder. Now, so that's why those two books, I think, go well together, and a lot of people have both of them. Now, this book that comes out, why write another book about coaching? Well, this is the first book, the one you and I have done, that have actual questions for you to answer, action steps for you to take and make note of. So it is like a field manual. Okay, now you got all this. Now you understand what works. Now you understand why it works. But are you doing it? This book will give you a guide to actually practice it and answer questions and understand it even more deeply, and then take it into your life and use it. So this was, to me, the final piece of the puzzle. I'm not writing any more books on coaching. This is the book that focuses on application and execution of the ideas.
I love that because I think when you were talking, what I really saw was, the prosperous coach kind of gave us, the first blueprint, the first level of blueprint on how to create the practice. And I remember reading it the very first time and I wrote, memorize or, remember this quote or those kinds of things to move it into practice. And similarly with how to get clients, same thing, like how to, okay, I'm going to have to move it into to practice. And then this book, Wealth Creation for Coaches, is about moving it into practice. Now we get to actually define what the practice is.
Yeah,
And we've talked about before, that you will tell us what to do in those other two books, would not how to do it. Right. And so Wealth Creation for Coaches is much more prescriptive about how do you start to develop what the practice is first, and then how do you put that practice into play, and what do we mean by practice, right? We're really meaning literal practice. I practice emergency procedures, and had to learn them until they were embodied, and that I see is the beautiful progression between those three books is really, for us, the Wealth Creation for Coaches is about the embodiment of the practice to create that prosperity.
exactly. I had to practice emergency financial procedures. I had so many debts and my life was such a mess. But yeah, you're right. This is the action book.
Mm. I love that. And I think one other thing I want to go back to, even when we were talking about, um, you know, having a love of learning and practicing. I think I would put those two together, right? The ability to learn and then practice and even teach as a coach, will help the coach with their embodiment. And so that quiet time that they can take with this book and write out their practices and put them in play will help them grow and learn and keep um, moving forward in their practice.